I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Ukraine war. Almost no life left in Bakhmut and 6 other top developments. Almost no life left as Russia intensifies Bakhmut attack. Russian forces are escalating their onslaught against Ukrainian positions around the wrecked eastern city of Bakhmut, Ukrainian officials said, bringing new levels of death and devastation in the grinding, months-long battle. Everything is completely destroyed. There is almost no life left, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said late Monday of the scene around Bakhmut and the nearby town of Soledar. The whole land near Soledar is covered with the corpses of the occupiers and scars from the strikes, Zelensky said. This is what madness looks like. The Donetsk region's governor, Pavlo Kirilenko, estimated more than 2 months ago that 90% of Bakhmut's pre-war population of over 70,000 had fled since Moscow focused on seizing the entire Donbass. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said Russia has thrown a large number of storm groups into the battle. The enemy is advancing literally on the bodies of their own soldiers and is massively using artillery, rocket launchers and mortars, hitting their own troops, she said. Russian troops, alongside soldiers from the Wagner Group, a Russian private military contractor, have advanced in recent days in Soledar and are likely in control of most of the settlement, the UK Defence Ministry tweeted Monday. It said that taking Soledar, 10 kilometers north of Bakhmut, is likely Moscow's immediate military objective and part of a strategy to encircle Bakhmut. But it added that Ukrainian forces maintain stable defensive lines in depth and control over supply routes in the area. An exceptional feature of the fighting near Bakhmut is that some of the fighting has been around entrances to disused salt mine tunnels, which run for some 200 kilometers underneath the area, the British intelligence report noted. Both sides are likely concerned that the tunnels could be used for infiltration behind their lines, it said. Taking Bakhmut would disrupt Ukraine's supply lines and open a route for Russian forces to press on toward Kramatorsk and Sloviansk, key Ukrainian strongholds in Donetsk. German Foreign Minister promises more weapons in surprise visit to Ukraine. Germany's Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock made a surprise visit to the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv near the Russian border on Tuesday, promising more weapons and concrete offers to help Ukraine join the EU. In a statement ahead of a meeting with Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, Baerbock expressed Germany's solidarity with Ukrainians living through Russia's invasion and harsh winter conditions. This city is a symbol of the absolute insanity of the Russian war of aggression in Ukraine and of the endless suffering that people, especially here in the east of the country, are confronted with every day, she said. After Germany last week promised to send Marder fighting vehicles to Ukraine as part of increased military support, Baerbock promised more weapons without specifying which ones. In Kharkiv we can see the courage, the resilience and therefore the hope for a life in peace, Baerbock told a press conference after her arrival. Kuleba repeated Ukraine's long-standing call for tanks and said he had no doubt that Berlin would eventually give Kyiv the coveted Leopard 2 tanks. I think that the German government also understands somewhere deep in its soul that this decision will be approved and the tanks will be given to Ukraine, he said. Kuleba added that foot-dragging on the issue was costing lives but also thanked his German counterpart for the aid so far. Baerbock also said it was important not to lose sight of Ukraine's place in Europe and its desire to join the EU. We as the government want to make very concrete offers to Ukraine in order to make progress in strengthening the rule of law, independent institutions and the fight against corruption, as well as in aligning with EU standards, she said. She said Germany would provide 20 million euros for demining efforts and another 20 million euros to boost Ukraine's access to Starlink internet terminals. Putin appoints new ground forces commander as critics slam the choice. Russia has appointed Colonel General Alexander Lapin as chief of staff of the country's ground forces, state-owned news agency TASS reported on Tuesday, despite fierce criticism from leading hawks over his performance in Ukraine. Lapin, previously commander of Russia's Central Military District, was blasted last October by hawkish allies of Putin after Russian forces were driven out of the city of Lyman in eastern Ukraine, a key logistics hub. His promotion, widely reported across Russian media but neither confirmed nor denied by the Kremlin, drew mixed reactions from the influential Russian war bloggers who often provide critical running commentary on Moscow's stuttering military effort in Ukraine. Igor Strelkov, a former leader of pro-Russian forces in Ukraine's Donetsk region, questioned Lapin's credentials as a commander and blamed him for heavy Russian defeats last year near the city of Kharkiv. His promotion was, to put it mildly, a misunderstanding, Strelkov wrote on Telegram on Tuesday. Another prominent war blogger, Vladlen Tatosky, said Strelkov was wrong to blame Lapin for the Kharkiv defeats but that his new position was a useless role that would duplicate the function of the general staff. Lapin's promotion follows other sweeping changes to Russia's military leadership during the 11-month war, in which Moscow's forces seized large areas of southern and eastern Ukraine but suffered a series of painful defeats and retreats. On the 8th of October, Russia named Air Force General Sergei Surovikin as the overall commander of its forces in Ukraine, shortly after the reported sacking of the commanders of the eastern and western military districts. In August, the state-owned RIA news agency reported that the commander of the Black Sea Fleet had been fired after a series of humiliations, including the sinking of its flagship Moskva and the loss of 8 warplanes in an attack on a Russian base in Crimea. After Russia lost Lyman in October, Lapin drew savage public criticism from Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov and Yevgeny Prigozhin, founder of the Wagner private military group, who have both sent units to Ukraine to bolster the efforts of the regular army. Kadyrov said Lapin should be stripped of his medals and sent to the front with a gun to wash away his shame with blood. Prigozhin backed Kadyrov's comments, saying, "All these bastards should be sent barefoot to the front with automatic guns."